Even the best can have a blip. Welcome to Watch Mojo UK, and today we'll be counting down our picks for the top 10 awful roles by great British actors.
You have no idea what you're doing.
Before we begin, if you enjoy this video, be sure to subscribe for more great content. For this list, we're counting down some of the UK's finest acting talent, but ranking them on the worst roles from their mostly brilliant backlogs. We are steering clear of outright controversial performances today, and we haven't included commendable roles in otherwise awful movies.
Knock knock.
Who's there?
Number 10, Eddie Redmayne as Balem Abrasax, Jupiter Ascending.
That planet belongs to me.
Best known for winning an Oscar as Stephen Hawking and catching a Niffler as Newt Scamander, Eddie Redmayne's on-screen magic has had the critics cooing for years, and fans absolutely love him. But then came Jupiter Ascending and Balem Abrasax.
I create life!
And I destroy it.
Cast as the principal baddie for the hugely underwhelming Wachowski sci-fi flick, Eddie's far from convincing as a planet-conquering supervillain. Perhaps it's the voice, or the look, or the mind-numbing plot. Either way, Redmayne won a Razzie for the role.
You begged me to do it!
I am not your damn mother.
Number 9, Colin Firth as Richard Braxton, the accidental husband.
Your real name is Emily?
Apparently there are a lot of things you don't know about her.
If you want a rom-com to work, then getting Colin Firth on the cast list is usually a good idea. But the Bridget Jones star could do nothing about this. In fact, his performance is partly to blame.
Excuse me, Mr. Bollenbecker, my name's... Oh! Jesus, Emma, what the hell?
Hand nuggies.
The accidental husband sees Firth flit through the flimsiest of storylines, living up to every stereotype he's ever played. The well-meaning Englishman, the safe bet, the spurned love, it's all here.
Which I didn't know.
Well, you certainly know now.
Yes, I do.
By the time Uma Thurman breaks up with him, the only tragedy is that you've sat through 90 minutes to get there.
I love you, Em. I'm clever enough to know when I've lost.
Number 8, Liam Neeson as Dr. David Marrow, The Haunting. Remakes often have potential for disaster, and 1999's The Haunting fell hilariously short of the mark. A black spot on Catherine Zeta-Jones' career as well as Liam Neeson's, the film sees Neeson play a psychiatrist with a run of a haunted house.
Here we are.
Only the CGI splurge of a storyline isn't especially scary, and lackluster parts by Neeson and Zeta-Jones only add to the mounting monotony.
I try to understand why people act the way they act, why they feel the way they feel.
To be fair, Neeson spends much of the movie either seeming confused or awkwardly flinching. He knows it's pants, you can tell.
You have to hide.
Hide? What does he think this is, a game?
Number 7, Judi Dench as Aereon, The Chronicles of Riddick.
You don't pray to our god. You pray to no god, I hear. Elementals. Recalculate.
Few actors will ever boast a back catalogue quite as impressive as Dame Judi Dench's, but if there is a fault in her filmography, then it's probably this.
No, we can't fly. But we glide very well. Save your threats, necromonger.
Judi's supporting role in the Riddick sequel saw her play Aereon, an air elemental who can twiddle her own transparency and has a way with numbers.
The odds are good
That?
that you will reach the Underverse.
Her character floats through a foggy plot, unable to really affect anything, while Vin Diesel fights anyone and everyone who gets in his way. Cool costume though. Number 6, Bill Nighy as Prince Naberius, I, Frankenstein.
But if Frankenstein was real, if he really did animate a human, would it help you to study it?
To another hellish horror movie, and not in a good way. There have been big plans for I, Frankenstein, including a big budget crossover with the Underworld series, but hopes for a franchise were quickly dashed on the back of brutal reviews.
My apologies for the zealous nature of our security. Perhaps if you'd simply knocked on the front door, this unfortunate awkwardness might have been avoided.
And as much as we love Bill Nighy, his role as the demon Prince Naberius was not one of his best. The actor's no stranger to supernatural roles, but he seems unequivocally bored throughout this film. He's not the only one.
Do not ever presume to know what I want. Is that understood?
Number 5, Anthony Hopkins as Gaylord Oakes, Bad Company. Teaming up with Chris Rock and rolling through almost every action movie cliche ever created, Anthony Hopkins' turn in Bad Company proved a painful career move.
So we need you to stand in for him, just briefly.
Pretend I'm him?
Yeah.
For how long?
9 days.
a man who has played all manner of masterful roles. It's a wonder he said yes to this script, which takes the buddy cop formula and flattens all the fun out of it.
Okay, so what do you want me to do?
Take her to dinner. She's CNN. If you handle this badly, she could blow your cover. Okay?
Yes, some will snigger at his name, but Gaylord's comic credentials end there, and the ball-busting bad cop routine is just too predictable.
Get in the car, bitch.
Like, seriously, why, Anthony? Why? Number 4, Christian Bale as John Connor, Terminator Salvation. While playing Batman in Christopher Nolan's Dark Knight trilogy, Christian Bale was at the height of his action hero powers when he signed up for the 4th installment in the Terminator franchise.
You're John Connor. Of course you know me. You were sent here to kill me.
But Salvation proved a nightmare from start to finish. Released amidst a media frenzy over leaked on-set audio of Bale throwing a tantrum.
Then why the f*** are you walking right through? Da-da-da-da like this in the background. What the f*** is it with you?
The movie was met with harsh reviews, with much of the criticism centred on Bale's version of John Connor. An iconic character revamped, the intense actor just couldn't crack the role. Number 3, Sean Connery as Zed, Zardoz. If we were ranking solely on the ridiculousness of a costume, then Connery would win, hands down. But we're not, so 3rd place will do.
Go in. Go on.
Zardoz is a not entirely awful sci-fi epic which, though it was panned on release in the 70s, has since developed a cult following. Sean Connery uses the post-apocalyptic tale to break away from James Bond, playing Zed, a gifted warrior who might just save mankind.
An old man calls me. The voice of the turtle is heard in the land.
He's still got the accent, but where did that hairdo come from? Thankfully, the look didn't catch on.
Kiss the bride!
You did well. I will take the bride.
Number 2, Ben Kingsley as Guru Tugginmypudha, the Love Guru. This acting great famously broke onto the scene by playing Gandhi in an Oscar-winning biopic. There is a certain spirituality to his role in The Love Guru, but the similarities stop there.
You are so good with nunchucks, yet you are blind.
I am not blind. I am just severely cross-eyed.
While Mike Myers took most of the flack for this poorly conceived comedy, Ben Kingsley's involvement is probably even more surprising.
Good distraction frees us from emotional pain. Bad distraction gives you a mouthful of whiz.
He plays Myers' mentor, a supposedly insightful chap who comes armed with an elephant-inspired chastity belt. If the whole thing sounds ridiculous, it's because it is.
The last rule of Guru is to rid student of the need of Guru.
Number 1, Michael Caine as Hoagie Newcombe, Jaws the Revenge. As with everyone on this list, Michael Caine's here because he is a class act.
You sure you know how to do this?
Of course not. What kind of pilot do you think I am?
But by God, he's played his fair share of bad roles. If you remember The Swarm, it's probably for the wrong reasons. And then there was The Hand, directed by Oliver Stone. But Jaws the Revenge is another ocean of awfulness. Caine plays Hoagie, a pilot who's caught up in the Brody family's battle against a killer shark.
Bloody hell, get us started double time. The breath on that thing.
But the Londoner was way too late to this franchise, and it's just painful to watch.
Damn passengers, you're all the same. Complain, complain. Oh, shit.
Do you agree with our picks? Check out these other great clips from WatchMojo UK and subscribe for more great content.